It feels like I've read so much and we still have just under 10 hours.
The Only One bed trope, absolutely stunning, chef's kiss, but also The Only One horse trope, stunning.
He's so pissed about it, and so now they're all like rivalry. Oh my gosh, vibes. Hello, gorgeous reading besties. I hope that you're having the most wonderful day of your entire stinking life. I'm so happy that you're here because the reading bug has bit me today. Pretty spur of the moment decided to do a timed 24-hour readathon just because I really feel like reading books and I want to see how many I can finish in 24 hours. That's also why this vlog just kicked off right away. We just got right into the reading without much of an introduction until now, because I was like, we're reading books and it's starting
immediately the second.
So we are almost 2 hours into the readathon. We're at 22 hours and 3 minutes. I decided to start off with Hollow Heathens. I did start reading this book in my Summerween vlog, but it's just a slower paced book, and so I've been reading it a little bit more slowly, and I'm still enjoying it. I'm now 70% of the way through, and I'm really liking it. If you did not watch that Summerween vlog, it is up now, so go check it out. But just as a quick update on what this book is about, it is a very witchy, kind of like, it's giving dark romance in the lightest sense of the word. Like, there's definitely dark things going on. The relationship is a little bit messy. Some of the things that our male love interest is doing aren't the healthiest. Like, it's not like the healthiest relationship, but I wouldn't necessarily describe it as like a dark romance because they're not doing like dark things to each other. It seems like fated love and the difficulty that they're having fighting for each other's love due to a lot of circumstances in the town. It's very autumnal. If you're reading this more towards spooky season, or if you're looking for books to add to your spooky season TBR already, I know that it's only July. I'm already in the spooky book mood. I'm starting to feel a little bit torn about it. At first, like the first 20% of the book, I was eating all the crumbs, licking my plate, like loved, loved, loved. I've started to lose some of that. There's just a lot going on in the book, and at first it was really fascinating. It had me very intrigued, but I'm not a massive fan of books that have all of these question marks, all of these dynamic moving pieces in the plot, and you don't get answers until you're like 70% of the way through the book. Like, give me something. The other book that I started, because I needed a little break, I just made dinner. I made sesame noodles with chicken and edamame and cucumbers, and it's so good. And I wanted an audiobook to listen to, so I picked up The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. I loved the Excerpts so much, and it's been so long since I read the Excerpts. It's been like a year and a half. So I saw that the audiobook for The Kiss Curse was available on Libby. This follows Gwen. She was a side character in the Excerpts. I think she's like the cousin of Vivi, who's the main character in the Excerpts. Vivi and Reese were the hero and heroine for the Excerpts. They're leaving to go back to Wales. They're currently in Georgia in this small town like Glen Hollow or something. They're leaving. Gwen is a little bit nervy because she's like, I'm losing my best friend and her husband, and like we were all hanging out for a while, and now I'm gonna be all by myself. Like, what am I even gonna do with my life? But Reese's brother, who's currently in Wales, is returning to the town, and she doesn't know that. And apparently they have like a history. They went to college together very, very briefly, and she didn't like him. She thought he was like stuck up and annoying. So here we go. Okay, it's been another 40 minutes. I've been reading Hollow Heathens because I really just want to finish it today. Like, I'm at the point with this book where I kind of just want it to be over. Like, not getting really good explanations as to what's happening, and there was just this really odd witchy ritual that Julian, our hero, went through and like did with his coven, and we got zero explanation as to like what was happening with it, or like why it's even relevant to anything else that's going on in the plot. And I'm like, okay, so are we just throwing this in for like a fun witchy ritual, or like what's the deal? Because we are now on page 415 and I still have like two and a half hours left in this book according to my Kindle, and I'm like, we did this for what? Can we please get back to the plot, because I'm getting so lost. Bless you. Good morning, happy Monday. Quick update from yesterday. So we read for 4.8 hours. I finished Hollow Heathens, and I had to do the math on how many pages I read in that book, because I'm not even lying, it felt like I was reading 1,000 pages and I only read 192 pages. I felt every single page. Final thoughts and ratings for Hollow Heathens, I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. The first half of that book was reading like 4-star potential. The second half of that book, everything went so downhill. The spice was not spicing. Whole chapters could have been edited out. At least 150 pages could have been edited out. Reveals that we got from 75% onward were so lackluster that I was like, why were we kind of held in suspense, even though it wasn't very suspenseful, until 75% of the way through for these reveals, and they're not good. I'm kind of like mad at that book. Like, I thought it was gonna be so much better than what it was. The execution just wasn't there. The writing style really lacked. But the 46 pages that I listened to of The Kiss Curse, I really enjoyed. I'm going to listen to that book while I'm working today, so hopefully get in a couple hours. I'm really enjoying where it's going so far, but I don't have any updates from the last time I updated you on that book. But this morning I was able to do about 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes of reading. I started to read How to Hunt a Demon King, and this is by Madeline Elliott. I think it's hard to see that name. This is a Little Red Riding Hood romantasy retelling. That's pretty much all I know, but I've seen this cover a couple different times, and I think I got this book during the Stuff Your Kindle Day, but it's on Kindle Unlimited. It's quite short as well. It's only a little bit over 300 pages, so I was like, I'm still in the mood for a romantasy. Hopefully this romantasy actually hits where Hollow Heathens fell so short. I think her name is Alora. She is 25, and in this society, witches come into power kind of when they hit puberty, but they're not allowed to start going to the coven meetings until they're 25 years old. Her mother has definitely sheltered her for reasons that we still don't really know. Female witches have to procreate with male mortals. The male mortals are not complaining about this. They're like, yes, we will live in this society and we will breed with you. There's this blood woods that kind of surrounds the witch's territory. It's kind of this protective woods, but it also seems like a creepy woods. And then there's a demon king, and the demons are chaotic, they're evil, they don't have any rules with their magic, which is very dangerous. I'm liking the setup. I will say that of the 36 pages that I've read so far, we've met Alora and her best friend Vera, and they're both like just turned 25.
about to start going to these coven meetings, they act like they are 16. Like they are reading so much younger than 25 years old that it's a little concerning. I feel like the age was attached because potentially if there's spice in this book, they can't be 16, right? So they're reading much, much younger than 25, but fingers crossed, I think it's going to start getting pretty juicy. It's another, I don't know what it is with me and witchy books lately, but like apparently we're all in the witchy vibes. We have 19 hours and 7 minutes left in the readathon, so still plenty of time to finish a bunch more books. Besties, I'm trying a new drink recipe. So what I thought would be fun, one of my favorite things to order is an iced chai with oat milk with a shot of espresso. It's so good. I feel like it's a really basic drink. I made some chai concentrate. This is like 1.5 cups of water, which I boiled, and then I put in 4 chai tea bags. I have no idea if that's too much or too little. This is my first time trying it, and I just decided to go rogue and not try a recipe at all. Try to look for a recipe, anything. I was just like, we're
Doing this and this is what's happening.
So I will let you know what this tastes like and how it goes. I'm gonna do like that much. Then we're gonna add our oat milk. Oh my gosh, perfect. Okay. I wanted to do just a tiny bit of the non-dairy oat creamer brown sugar from Trader Joe's. I freaking love this stuff. This is really good. This is really good. Oh my gosh, no, honestly, I think I got the balance pretty stinking good. Highly, highly recommend trying this. Whether you make it at home and you have an espresso or an espresso machine and just like make a shot of espresso, or try one from Starbucks. They're so good, I promise you. I feel like this channel, we appreciate a good coffee montage. So it's like kind of relevant, but not super relevant. Currently listening, and they just had their first kiss and there was a love spell involved. Adorbs. Oh my gosh, and we just learned that love spells don't work unless the two people are already interested in each other. And they act like they hate each other. They have like these rival witchy stores. He opened a store right across from where Gwen's like witchy store is, and she's so pissed about it. And so now they're all like rivalry. Oh my gosh, vibes. So as you would have seen, Jam and I just went for our walk, but before I talk about this morning, let's talk about yesterday. So yesterday I read for 4 hours and 9 minutes, and then this morning I was listening to my audiobook when I was getting ready and when JMO and I went for a walk. So we have 14 hours and 16 minutes left in the readathon. I have made some really good progress with How to Hunt a Demon King and with the Kiss Curse. I really like Gwen, and what's his name? Wes? I think his name is Wes. What is my issue with remembering character names lately? I really love them as a couple. I think that they're super cute. And then this morning when I started listening again to the audiobook, it started right with our first spicier scene. And it was the truck scene, which if you've read The Kiss Curse, it was like cute, but like very rom-com. I love how they're both like obsessed with each other. It was a little bit Not even a little bit. It was insta-lovey for sure, but I feel like most rom-coms kind of are insta-lovey, and so I'm really just having fun with it and enjoying it. An hour and 7 minutes left in this audiobook. I'm 86% of the way through, so I'm absolutely going to finish this today, which is stunning. I'm excited, but I almost don't want to be done with it because I don't have another audiobook to listen to, and I've had a lot of fun just like listening to it while I work, but that's gonna be happening. To Hunt a Demon King, let's talk a little bit about it because I am halfway through at this point. It is very easy to read. I'll be honest, at the halfway point, it's giving very YA, but I had to just check on Goodreads to see if it was, and no, it says it's a paranormal adult dark romance with witches, magic, demons. So it's gonna get spicy, but like, our main character acts so young. I've been playing this game of like truths with each other as they're journeying to where they need to go. I've been getting a little frustrated with it because Alara is telling all of her truths and Hunt is getting to know her, and he never reciprocates any truths about him. So he's this very mysterious guy, but I'm like, Alara, why are you still telling this man truths when you're playing a truth for a truth and he literally doesn't tell you anything at all? He says at one point when she's like, yeah, I ran away on my birthday, I'm 25. And he was like, you're 25? And she's like, yeah, why? And he's like, because you act a lot younger than that, and I think it's because you're so sheltered. Which I was like, we are calling her out and I'm kind of here for it. But at the same time, like, she does act very, very young. And so the fact that this is going to be like a spicy, we'll wait until we get to the spicy scenes and I'll let you know how I feel then. But like right now I'm like mildly concerned. It's also giving insta-love. However, this book is only a little over 300 pages. So it makes sense that things are moving very quickly. But I think that these two choices, both the Kiss Curse and To Hunt a Demon King, were perfect choices, especially after Hollow Heathens. That was so slow and unnecessarily long, and obviously I wasn't enjoying my time with that book. Both of these books I'm really enjoying. They've been going by so quickly. I'm excited to finish both of them, and I will update with my thoughts. Okay, so I literally just finished listening to The Kiss Curse, and it was so cute! I think that I did like the XX a little bit more just because I liked Vivi and Reese's story better. The only issue that I had with The Kiss Curse was the setup for the relationship. They didn't like each other because Gwen was upset with him that he never came to Reese and Vivi's wedding. I was like, why would she be so mad about that when she has barely known this person? Like, yes, they knew of each other in college, but like, why would she be so upset about that for so long? Like, that didn't make a lot of sense to me, but besides that, I loved everything else. I thought it was just really, really cute. And I think I'm gonna give The Kiss Curse 4 stars. It was so cute, and I enjoyed it so much. Joking, this is my actual freaking face. I turned the page and this is what was on this page. Oh my god. At the beginning of this book, there's this really cute, it's in the same like style. It's like character art, just like this. But I just flipped past part 2, which is called The Fool. And I was not expecting that fan art. The Only One Bed trope, absolutely stunning, chef's kiss, but also The Only One Horse trope, stunning. We're not judging my sun visor because I didn't choose the coastal grandmother life. The coastal grandmother life chose me. Thank you. besties. It is Wednesday. I was hoping to be done with this 24-hour readathon by Wednesday because we started it on Sunday. However, we still have just under 10 hours left, but we're over the halfway point, and I'm not gonna complain. I have gotten some amazing reading done. It feels like I've read so much and we still have just under 10 hours. I finished a couple books yesterday. Let's talk about it. I read for 4.98 hours yesterday. I was so close to hitting the 5-hour mark, but just under. I'm really happy with what I read yesterday. I finished To Hunt a Demon King. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. That 4-star was much more kind of enjoyment level of the book because I think that the writing is very light. I think it's a very light-hearted read, which was nice. I will also add, it's a very loose retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. It is not following that story to a T, and that's also not the main plot line of the story, but you can see how it was inspired by. I wouldn't call it a retelling. I would say it's inspired by Little Red Riding Hood. It's a very sweet romance, and the spice was really, really good. Whole chapter of spice, and I was like, okay, we love. And the spice fit the mood and the style of the book. On Goodreads, it describes this book as dark. Absolutely not. I would describe this book as a very lighthearted, sweet, almost wholesome, but I feel a little weird using the word wholesome for a book that has spice in it, because obviously, like, I don't know about that. That series has 2 more books. The next one gets published in August, and then the 3rd book gets published in September. Ooh, and there's also a novella that's getting published in August as well, To Claim a Daemon Lord, a King and Coven novella. Interesting. And To Hunt a Demon King just came out in May. So I will definitely be continuing on with that series. I really loved it. I was actually hoping that the 2nd book was out already because I had it tentatively on maybe a book that I was gonna pick up next in this vlog, but I guess not. So we finished that book, 4 stars, really enjoyed it, highly recommend it if you're looking for a very quick romantasy to read. I also think it would be great for beginners as well because there's a lot of explanation. It's a very fast-paced story, but none of it was difficult to understand. Then, because I still wanted to read, but I needed something just quick that I could fly through, and I was on Instagram and I saw Jan's stories, and she had just finished reading a graphic novel called Unfamiliar by Haley Newsome. I will pop up a picture of this cover, and I think I would have included a little bit of B-roll of me like flipping through the book and some of the illustrations and stuff like that. I loved this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It's only 160 pages. There will be more volumes in the story as well. The illustration style was so unique and just adorable, but what really got me about this book was the humor that was in it. I thought it was so well written, and Unfamiliar Volume 2 is supposed to come out in October, which will be perfect. Just for reference, the Volume 1, we follow a little witchy girl. Her name is Planchette. Really captured my heart right away. We follow our little witchy girl. Her name is Planchette. She is moving from a town that sounds like it had more mortals in it, like humans, and she really felt like she didn't fit in. And she buys this house that's so cute. It is shaped like a little skull, but it is haunted. And our little girly, Planchette, is really adept at cooking and like food magic, but not much else. And so she feels really inadequate, I guess. That's gonna be, I think, part of her character development. So she goes on the hunt for other witches in the town to help her rid her new house of ghosts. All of the witches that she finds throughout this book as well have familiars, and I also just love the familiars so much. So I finished that last night. I started reading, it is a YA thriller by Kaylin Barron? I think it's Barron. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. This book just came out in June 20th of this year. I've been seeing it everywhere, and it's one that I've had my eye on. I talked about this book in my last anticipated releases video. It's only 230 pages, and it is a slasher thriller book. We follow our main character, Charity, and she is the star final girl at Camp Mirror Lake. Terror is the name of the game, but can you survive the night? She's part of this production that takes place at a summer camp where guests pay to be scared in a full contact terror game. So they kind of play out this horror film. I think it's based off of a horror film, and it's real life. So the guests are not only watching this production take place, they're involved in it, and they get like killed off, like taken away, and then whoever survives by the end of the night, when they kill the killer that's running around, they kind of like win the game. Things start to go wrong, and I think the Charity is going to become a true life final girl and not just a fictional final girl in this game. So I only read a couple chapters of it last night and was hooked right from the very beginning. I like Charity as a character. I think it's an interesting setup, so we'll see how it goes, but I've been very excited for this one. And then last update, I promise. I started the audiobook for Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I've been meaning to get to this one for a while, and I put in a hold on Libby for the audiobook for this a couple weeks ago, thinking whenever I got the audiobook I would start to listen to it. And I figured since I finished the Kiss Curse audiobook, I could actually start this one. So Divine Rivals is, I think, making its rounds in the book community at this point, but this is a fantasy romance that follows two journalists that are rivals, and it's like a rivals to lovers type setup. From the first couple chapters, it seems like it's taking place during a time period that's inspired by almost like a World War I or maybe World War II, because there are a bunch of young men who are going off to war. Our main character, Iris, her brother, who she's really close with, goes off to war, but instead of the war being World War I or World War II, it is this War of the Gods, and apparently like the goddess called on her brother, and so he enlisted in the war. Still a little bit murky about the details there because I've only listened to 2 chapters of this book. I'm like 5% of the way through. But there are rumors that a lot of the soldiers in the war are disappearing from the front lines. Iris is really concerned about her brother, and she keeps writing him letters to the front line. She slips them under her door where they disappear, but they're not going to her brother. They end up in the hands of her rival, Roman. So Roman Kit is the rival slash like hero love interest in this book. He also works at the newspaper, like I mentioned. He anonymously starts writing back to Iris from these letters, and they start to form a connection. She doesn't know that it's Roman responding to her letters, but he knows, obviously, that these are her letters to her brother. Today, I don't know how much vlogging in terms of like B-roll and stuff like that I'll be able to do. I have so many calls at work that it's gonna be really difficult for me to listen to an audiobook, but I figured in between, if I can have something to listen to, I wanted the option. I'm also about to take JMO for his walk, and I will be listening to a little bit more of this one before I have to log in. We're aiming to finish this 24-hour readathon by tomorrow, so I do want to kind of stick to the pace that I've been going at, reading about 4 to 5 hours a day. Good morning, my friends. We are very sleepy today. Yesterday was kind of it wasn't like a hard day at work. It was just so exhausting that when I got off of work yesterday, I did not want to read. And I was like, I should though. Then I ended up editing my video last night for the one that came out this past Thursday. And I was like, I'm not reading a bunch of TikToks. It's a TikTok night, okay? And this morning, it is a Starbucks morning. So we're gonna go to Starbucks. Honestly, I might order 2 coffees, one without ice, and put it in the fridge for later because your girl does not want to freaking work today. It's been a lot. So let's go to Starbucks. The only reading update that I have is that I listened to a little bit more of Divine Rivals, and I'm really liking this book. I'm scared though because it's sad. Like Iris is going through it. Her brother went off to war. Now he's like missing on the front. Other things have happened that I won't talk about because I don't want to spoil anything. But I feel so sad for this girl, and I'm just nervous because I've heard that it's kind of a tragic love story.
much better now that I have a sufficient amount of dirty ice chai in my system. I've been reading this morning for about an hour, maybe a little bit under an hour, and I'm 41% of the way through Divine Rivals. I wanted to give more of a cohesive update on how I'm feeling about Divine Rivals because I feel like my updates so far have been very reactionary, like as I'm reading, sharing stuff with you guys. Also, a quick reaction. The typewriters in this book, I love that so much. Okay, so the writing of Divine Rivals is beautiful. I love it so much. It's giving very historical fiction with magical realism. So it's difficult to say if I would really describe it as a fantasy romance, but I see how that's warranted because there's so much lore about the gods and this war that's going on in the background that is really quite fantastical. And there are fantastical creatures in this book as well, kind of like monsters. What's interesting about this dynamic is that the war almost has seemed 40% of the way through the book as something that's happening in the background, and the forefront was our characters when they were at the newspaper and like their relationship, more like normal life things that were going on, like engagements and alcoholism and drama at the newspaper, kind of that competition rival relationship was at the forefront. Now it has started to switch because Iris is now being more of a war correspondent, and so we're starting to see a lot more of that war, and it's getting a lot more incorporated into the story, and so it is making it feel that much more fantastical because now these things are present, happening with our main character, right? There's some really strong female characters in this book that I absolutely love. Iris is obviously one of them, but when she switches newspapers to the ink-ridden Tribune, which I just love, I love that so much. Her friend Addie, who's also a war correspondent, when they meet on the train, I loved that interaction so much. I love Addie. I really am scared that something bad's gonna happen to her. I don't want anything bad to happen to her, but Rebecca Ross clearly isn't afraid of hurting readers' feelings, and so I'm a little bit scared about this war correspondent-ness. So Addie is adorable, and then the woman who hosts them, Marisol, I think that she's going to be just a really lovely, warm character. A lot of these characters just feel so well-rounded already, and I'm only maybe 140 pages in, and these characters just feel real. But with that, I'm going to continue reading for a little while. I think I should be able to get a good amount of reading done today. I am not trying to jinx myself by saying this, but I have 6 hours and 39 minutes left in this 24-hour readathon. I don't know that I'm going to be able to finish it today. I hope that I will be able to, but I am just unsure of whether I will be able to read for another 6.5 hours. I need to read this excerpt from Divine Rivals because these letters have my whole entire heart. I love them so much. The letter that Iris wrote. I don't know why I'm writing this. You just told me last night you were going away, and yet here I am writing to you as I've been doing so compulsively the past few months. Or maybe I'm truly writing for myself today, under the guise of your name. Perhaps it's a good thing you're gone. Perhaps now I can fully lower my armor and look at myself, which I've resisted doing since my mom died. You know what? I need to completely restart this letter to you, crossed out, to me. And oh my god, the way that hits me in my emotions, because you know how sometimes when you're talking to a friend about maybe like a difficult situation or something that you're dealing with, and talking to them brings you so much more clarity to the situation that when you were just thinking about it nonstop in your head, you couldn't come to, but like speaking the words out loud or writing them down just helps you like identify your true feelings or like see your true self or see the clarity that you needed for whatever situation that you're going through. Oh my gosh. That's what journaling does for me as well. Like I started journaling in 2020 when I was going through probably one of the most anxious years of my entire life. And I started journaling, and having that clarity just to write it down on a page for me was like life-changing. And that's why I still journal now. And then the response to her letter: Dear Iris, you don't know what's coming in the days ahead, but you're doing just fine. You're so much stronger than you think, than you feel. Don't be afraid, keep going. Write the things you need to read. Write what you know to be true. Oh my gosh, I'm so dead. Oh my gosh, there's another one as well. Dear Iris, this is the last one I'll read, I promise. I'm not trying to do like spoilers and stuff like that, but I think if you need convincing to read Divine Rivals and you're wondering if it will be for you, I just think that these moments are so beautiful. Dear Iris, I don't think you realize how strong you are, because sometimes strength isn't swords and steel and fire, as we so often are made to believe. Sometimes it's found in quiet, gentle places. The way you hold someone's hand as they grieve, the way you listen to others, the way you show up day after day, even when you are weary or afraid or simply uncertain. That is strength, and I see it in you. As for your bravery, I can honestly tell you I don't know anyone of your mettle. Who else packs up everything and leaves the comfort of their home to become a war correspondent? Not many. I admire you in more ways than one. Keep writing. You will find the words you need to share. They are already within you, even in the shadows, hiding like jewels. Yours, C. Oh my gosh, I passed away. That's so sweet. It literally makes me want to cry. Okay, we have officially finished this 24-hour readathon. It is actually Thursday. So yesterday I was able to read like 5 hours. I finished Divine Rivals yesterday. Today I only had a little over 2 hours to read. So I finished reading Scream for the Scarecrow by Violet Taylor. This is only a 40-page horror monster romance, like dark romance. And it was just really fun. My friend Hannah had recommended it to me after I read Burn for Jack. And she was like, I just read this one. It's also unhinged. It's very, very similar. So I read that today. I read a little bit more of You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. I am 27% of the way through. It's starting to get a little crazy. Obviously, they're in this horror simulation game, but things are starting to not go as planned. I'm still not like super sure how I'm feeling about it because not too much has happened. I'm only like 60 pages into You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, but I'm hoping to finish it very soon, and I will absolutely post my review on Goodreads as well. So I have that linked in the description box below. So final recap. Timed 24 hours. It took me from Sunday to Friday to finish this timed 24-hour readathon, but I finished 6 books. We finished Hollow Heathens, which was a 2.5 star. Finished To Hunt a Demon King by Madeline Elliott, which was 4 stars, and I can't wait to continue on with that series. Oh my goodness. Finished The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling, gave that one 4 stars as well. Finished Unfamiliar by Haley Newsome, 4-star read for a graphic novel. Divine Rivals, I ended up, oh my gosh, I haven't told you about Divine Rivals yet. Divine Rivals, I ended up giving 5 stars. It made me cry last night. That is so tragic. The cliffhanger at the end is honestly cruel. Like, I am upset with Rebecca Ross about that cliffhanger, but oh my gosh, I was crying. I loved that love story. That was one of the best. It's not enemies to lovers. It is the perfect rivals to lovers story. The letters I absolutely loved. I thought that there was a really great balance between the tragic things that are happening in that story, but there are also some lighthearted moments just between the relationship between our 2 main characters. I thought that the lore of the gods who are at war with each other was really interesting. I hope that in book 2 we get to learn a little bit more, because we kind of got just sprinklings of that backstory and that lore of the world, but we didn't get everything. It's still, I won't say confusing, but we just didn't get like a lot of information about that. But I also just have no idea where the story is going to go in the second book. Absolutely zero clue. It's a very character-driven story. I feel that the characters in Divine Rivals were so well-rounded. They felt so real, which I think I've mentioned before as well, but for as short as that story was, it was only 350 pages,
I felt so connected to those characters. Couldn't get enough of the snarky banter between Roman and Iris. And then even when their romance is, they're moving away from that rivals and they're moving into lover territory, they're still so witty and like playful with each other. Oh my gosh, it was just so beautiful. I love their connection so much. I don't know if I'm going to give a rating to Scream for the Scarecrow because it was just like wild and unhinged, and it was only 43 pages. I don't know that I can give like a full star rating for it. The writing was like, it was like 4 or 5 spicy scenes between like our 2 main characters in that book. And so I don't know that I'm gonna give that one a rating, but it was really fun. And again, if you like books like Scream for Us, Burn for Jack, I think that Scream for the Scarecrow might be up your alley as well. And then no final rating yet, obviously, for You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, friends. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I post every Sunday and Thursday. We have the Who Did This To You book club where we read fantasy romance all year round. I have the romantasy-a-thon Instagram linked down below as well. I do host a fantasy romance readathon, and we are doing a 48-hour readathon in August. So if you want more details there, please go follow at romantasy-a-thon on Instagram, linked in the description box below. I will catch you in the comments, and I'll see you in my next one, friends. Bye!